Hello everyone, Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. How are we all today, this evening, wherever you are in the world at this point in time? Well, first to the good news. We, just in my area, I don't know how widespread it is, we've actually had some rain here. And it's been a blissful relief after days and days, weeks, months even being blanketed with smoke. Cooler temperatures have given us some relief, and generally in New South Wales as well, those cooler temperatures are bringing some relief. Though the fires are still burning, a lot of them out of control. We're not out of danger yet, but for today at least, there has been some relief. Now, in the meantime, I want to go to the other tinderbox here, likened to, I think it was your Joe Biden said putting a match into a tinderbox. I want to go to the Middle East again today. Before I start, I should just say that Senator Lindsey Graham has come out and said that he will move or try and overturn some kind of impeachment rule in the Senate so that they can get started with the trial without having to wait for those articles of impeachment. I saw Lawrence Tribe on Twitter, tongue-in-cheek, say Senator Graham obviously has forgotten that to change any sort of rule in that regard would require 67 votes, or 2/3 of a majority in the Senate. So obviously requiring some Democratic votes to make that change, which of course to that scale would not be possible. So in the meantime, of course, and I do say this in all seriousness, the Middle East is so volatile at the moment. The Iraqi parliament has voted to oust the US in Iraq. It then, obviously is going to unite with Iran, and Iran has vowed that there will be retribution. They've actually put an $80 million bounty on Trump's head. Now, normally we would have this rallying of the allies, but underneath Trump, and I do take the point that one viewer said this isn't a US action, this is a Trump action. There is some, I guess, consternation now that he's done this without legal authorization. White House lawyers are saying that he did. Nancy Pelosi and her team are saying that he didn't, and that Trump and his administration are yet to provide tangible evidence that there was an imminent threat which would justify an action like this. So throwing a match into the tinderbox, let's get started. Show me the Middle East today, and of course that general I think is being buried and there are mass protests in the streets. I think, anyone, not just Americans, but anyone who is a citizen of a Western democracy would be in danger across the US across the Middle East at the moment. So let's have a look. Show me the Middle East. Show me the Middle East at the moment. Show me the Middle East. Show me the Middle East. And of course, this is again causing a lot of fear because of biblical predictions and Armageddon predictions that a war would start in the Middle East, the war to end all wars. Now, something has emerged. We always knew with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, Mercury also in Capricorn, Mars in Sagittarius, we always knew that January was going to be an incredibly difficult month, and I think we're seeing that being played out now. Trump is actually quite isolated, I do believe. Normally, an escalation like this would produce a strong allied response of support, but we know that over 3 years, Trump doesn't have many friends in his camp. Okay, so let's have a look. Show me the Middle East at the moment. Show me the Middle East. Show me the Middle East. Show me the Middle East at the moment. All right, so we've got this relocation here, this Six of Swords, population movements. I'm going to Syria at the moment. this is a signifier card. It comes up time and time again, suggesting that there is some kind of agenda here to move populations. It could be a rallying against that movement, that interference in the Middle East once and for all, and this kind of interference that, you know, has at its base. The worst impact falls onto civilians, families, women, and children. It could also be that there is a movement away of anyone, US and other citizens of Western democracies, a movement out of the Middle East. Let's have a look at what's challenging that. Okay, so here again, I'll read in layers. This Six of Swords is also representing Trump's wish to move away from an impeachment focus, to move on from the Ukrainian, really what amounts to potential breaking of law, bribery, extortion, etc., moving away from that. But the challenge here is the American people. The American people are not going to move on from the Ukraine, from his impeachment as quickly as I think Trump is thinking. We've got the Ten of Swords. Show me the Middle East at the moment. Okay, so this is really something at the lowest possible. You can't go much lower at the moment, and this is somebody turning their back and walking away. This is the ending of, I would say, long. I guess peace as we've known it in the Middle East, such as it is. Now, Iran has also said they will pull out of that nuclear arms treaty completely, the one that Trump walked away from. The allies, such as Macron from France, were trying to preserve some semblance of that treaty, a treaty that was started under George W. Bush. And one in which Obama then ratified and Trump pulled out. This is a complete severing of ties with the US in the Middle East at the moment. So if Trump wanted to de-escalate, he's done the opposite. If Trump wanted to build alliances within the Middle East, he's done the opposite of that. Okay, so in the past we've got this new starts, this emotion, this overflowing of emotion. So it's sitting right, it's contrasting against with this Ten of Swords. You can see the emotion here, and then you can see that the sky's darkening here. So I feel that there is a change now, a change of emotional intensity in the Middle East, which is being demonstrated by those mass protests. We've got the Six of Wands here. Somebody is going to be wanting victory. Somebody's going to be riding in order to take victory. Is that Trump or is that the Iranians? We do have an offer here coming forward, but this is also, this Knight of Chalices, Knight of Cups worries me, because this comes forward when we have some kind of political expediency being needed. And again, I'm just associating this with the impeachment and with Donald Trump's appalling approval ratings in the US at the moment. Is this part of a grand plan to get him re-elected, start the war and get him re-elected? We've got the Three of Wands here, this commerce and trade. Let's have a look at what's surrounding that. The Eight of Pentacles, money in, money out. Now, I do want to go, I will tackle whether or not there's been any insider trading. It's been a reading that I've been wanting to do for a while. We saw those those stocks soar in relation to oil and gas, and of course arms manufacturing industries as well. This is suggesting that what Trump has his mind on. We also had the landing of a plane, I think, and a Russian oligarch coming. Whether he was here to meet Trump, I don't know. But there are all sorts of rumours around Trump being paid off for the decisions that he's been making. We had some also breaking news around Russia's state bank guaranteeing Trump's loans with Deutsche Bank. we definitely have Trump's mind here on commerce and expansion, but we also have the Middle East also. The various players are looking at perhaps how hard they need to work to regain a foothold here. Because the Middle East is about industry as well. We've got the Chariot in the hopes and fears. Unfortunately, these are retaliation cards, and we've got the Four of Wands, some kind of celebration, reunion with oneself. These are alliances being forged now between Iraq and Iran, I feel, and why we've got this death card. So there is a celebration now, a wanting to meet the assassination, who I have to say the general was not, is not a peace-loving man. Let's just put it like that. But he was the third most powerful man in Iran, and he was taken out, shall we say. Some people are calling that an assassination. The mood in the Middle East at the moment, there is a coming together, a reunion amongst, I think this is Iraq and Iran, and we've got, of course, ISIS now might start to rise again. Trump has undone, like pulling out of that treaty, he's undone all of the good work that has been done to keep peace in the Middle East. And we've got battle fatigue, battle weary. People are prepared to go to battle here in the Middle East. I also feel that Trump's motivation was to win in 2020. Let's have a look at this Six of Wands here, and to take focus away with this Knight of Cups away from his impeachment. There is some kind of monetary, again, commercial aspect to this whole Middle Eastern situation that keeps coming forward again and again. Show me this Six of Wands. Show me this Six of Wands. Show me this Six of Wands. Riding into victory. Okay, this is the Five of Wands. This is challenges, obstacles. This is tug of war. This is fights. Okay, there's going to be there's a look. I don't want to alarm anyone, but there is a thirst now for war in the Middle East amongst Iran and Iraq, and perhaps others joining together. There is this card of self-defense, someone needing to defend themselves, and this is Trump here, the king of business, the king of pentacles, the businessman. This is also partisan reaction. So Trump, I don't know what he was thinking. It's not as if it's not the first time that it's been considered to take this general out, but other presidents have been more cautious in their approach. Let's have a look at this. He's going to face partisan fire. He's going to have to defend his decisions, but he's also, basically, the Middle East has gone to, what can I say? There has been an escalation. Okay, we've got the World here as well. The World card coming out, endings, beginnings, something that's going to draw in the entire world. January, as I said, we've got a astrologically very diabolical, very volatile month coming up. Show me this King of Pentacles and the World card. Okay, so we've got some kind of, again, it always comes back to Trump keeping some kind of secrets that has to do with income sources. So there is a karma. There is a karma happening, a karmic situation happening at the moment. The focus is on people that are peddling these agendas for their own gain, and there's manipulation at foot. So the Middle East, what changed between this reading, the reading that I did a couple of days ago, the Middle East is indeed a tinderbox, and it could go, could ignite at any point. Emotions are running incredibly high. Does Trump, under the circumstances as we face this kind of volatility, not just targeted to the US, but any of the Western democracies, anyone who has a Western appearance in the Middle East at the moment is in danger. So does Trump have this escalation, this that we're seeing played out at the moment? Does he have allied support? Let's just give these cards one more shuffle. Does Trump have allied support? Because all the allies, including Boris Johnson, have been fairly measured and quiet in their reaction. They've all basically said we want to see a de-escalation, not an escalation. So does Trump have ally Western democracies? Are they going to support Trump's action in the Middle East? What are they thinking? Western democracies, UK, Canada. Australia is too busy with its own problems. Germany, I know Italy has come out and decried this as well. Does Trump have Western democratic support of these leaders? The EU, does he have their support for his actions in the Middle East? I'm feeling they're thinking it's quite volatile. This is the King of Wands, of course. This is a fire energy. It's also the need for leadership. And we've got the challenge here to kings. How odd. So we've got fire and passion, and then we've got the challenge here with this more measured approach. That's interesting because I feel that's the difference between between Trump, the bold leader, coming in with this motivation, and we can see the King of Cups wanting to de-escalate. We can see the difference even in the colour of these cards. It's rare to have that kind of combination coming forward in the signifier card. So this is saying that the cool water of the allies may well be challenging the fire of any further action in the Middle East. We've got judgment. They are judging, and I think judgment is something coming to an inevitable close. Again, this seems to be a cool card here. I'm just being drawn to this water putting out fire. We've got the disappointment in the Trump government in the past, and as we know, Trump has spent nearly 3 years really, can I just say, dissing his allies. We've got in the future, we've got the investigator. This is a cool, objective energy, 3 kings. So that's interesting. What this is telling me is that the heads, 3 kings, the heads of other countries are not necessarily going to fall into line with Donald Trump and his government. Not at all. Not at all. Okay, we've got the High Priestess. Again, I think this is around closed door. I've got a pull when I started this spread around allies having their own discussions behind closed doors, formulating their own plans, which are outside of what Trump might be wanting. Pompeo has been going on media whining that he's not getting the support that he needs from the allies for this assassination. They're all concurring. The general was, as I said, a person known to have participated in multiple killings, etc. But other cooler heads in the past have gone away from assassinating this person because of what we're seeing playing out now. There appears to be another plan here that the allies are perhaps cultivating. We've got the Chariot, though. Things are moving very, very, very quickly at the moment, very quickly toward an escalation. We have the environment around partnerships, alliances being formed. We've got the hopes and fears. We've got the Sun card. We've got that is the hope. I think that there will. I think that the peace will prevail, but it's also the fear as well that this sun god, if you like, might go to war. I think the allies are genuinely worried, but here we have the Four of Wands again coming through. So what this is telling me, let's just have a look at this. A plan, the Two of Wands, a crossroads. And we've got the Nine of Wands. they're going to be putting up barriers to, and joining this regime in going to war in the Middle East. This is actually going to come back to countries deciding to do what's best for them. And this is not such a bad thing, because underneath we have the Star of Hope. We have we've got 4 kings on the ground. This is very much about world leaders, but we have also the divine feminine, the women, this Queen of Wands here, Pelosi. I can see Merkel in Germany as well. We've got cooler heads prevailing. This is a tightrope situation for the world at the moment. And we have the Emperor, control, but we also have balance coming forward, temperance, harmony. So what I'm seeing is the Allies will not necessarily join Trump in this. They are having their own conversations. There is a strong female leader also here in the mix. And this could be, I think, Pelosi, but it could be also your Congress, could be Angela Merkel. We've got women coming forward here. So we've got stability, trying to bring stability into this situation. In a way, while we see the Trump regime, I'm not even going to say the US anymore. I don't want to offend you, because I know that you're not in step with this regime. With this government, I should say, or some would call it a regime. The Allies are going to be making their own minds up. All right, let's have a look at whether or not... Now, I know this is a legal question, but I do want to ask the cards whether or not this was actually legal, this strike that he did without informing Congress, without even informing some people in his party, whether or not this was actually legal. Okay, let's have a look here. Was this strike of Trump's actually legal? Was this strike to kill, assassinate, take out, choose your own words? Was this actually illegal? Was it legal? Was this move legal? Was this move legal? Spirit, was this move legal? And show me what is likely to unfold in relation to the legality of this strike. Okay, so interestingly enough, we've got the Sun God again. We've got the Aries energy, the Leo energy, fire energy. I feel that it is, yes, I think that he will be able to, at some point in the future, justify. But this justification, okay, all right. So Trump is going to say yes, fully. I was within my legal constitutional authority as Commander-in-Chief to do this. But it's being challenged by that Queen of Wands, which is interesting. So I'm not going to say straight away that he was. I'm just going to say that there are some grounds there that he will bring forward, that he has already brought forward to say that he was this was legal, but the spread is not that simple. So I'm not going to jump to conclusions. Let's just keep seeing what's going to come forward. Of course, we've got the Tower card, but I feel that unfortunately he has unleashed with this action. He has unleashed the Tower moment, not just on the US, but on any Westerner that could be now potentially a target. There is going to be there's going to be a quite a strong response. He is having to defend himself with this Seven of Wands over this, but I think that the legality probably is the least of all the worries. We've got heartbreak and loss here. I'm sorry that this reading is like this. We've got the Wheel of Fortune, things changing though, and this is sitting right alongside this Queen of Wands who's come up before in the allied reading. He's not going to have it all his own way. He is this Eight of Swords. There's a restriction here, and a suspension with this Hanged Man. Yeah, there is loss here in relation to this question, and we've got the Knight of Pentacles. This is a slow-moving knight, likely in time. Three of Wands, again, around this commerce and expansion. But we've got this Eight of Wands, things coming forward very, very quickly. As a result, I think what this spread is telling me that the legality is being challenged. It is the least of the worries now because he's unleashed something he's not going to be able to put back in the box. However, this action in some way, with these two cards here, I asked about the legality of it. I feel that Pelosi and her team have come into this spread, and I feel he's going to be stopped. There could even be a UN move against him in time. The Ten of Wands, something carrying a heavy burden. We've got the Knight of Wands. I feel this is the impeachment and investigation. Events are going to and the Sword of Truth. Events are going to overtake Donald Trump. I feel if this was designed, he's absolutely gone too far this time. He's gone absolutely too far. Now, there is a bounty on his head. I wonder if his hotels, his properties are going to be targeted. If I was a traveller, there would be no way that I wouldn't stay in his properties anyway, but I would be less inclined to do so now because they will be what some commentators are describing as a soft target. With that Tower card, it will be interesting to see how the Middle East actually reacts, how Iran comes in and strikes back. Of course, there has been this attack on a base in Kenya, in Africa, that the US does use, and there's been the loss, I think, of 3 US defence personnel. So already there's been retaliation. Let's go to this bounty on Trump's head. Is Trump in any danger? Is Trump, his properties, his family in any danger from retaliation from Iran? Trump, his properties, his family are they in any danger in relation to these threats from the Middle East, Iran, Iraq, and other allies of Iran? Is Trump, his family, or his properties in any danger? I am feeling that, of course, they are. We've got the Emperor card here, control. It's being challenged by this Two of Cups, relationships. His control of this situation is being challenged by partnerships and relationships, potentially these networks coming together. Let's have a look. We've got the Magician card, actualizing something into reality. So the threats are given this is the foundation of the reading, those threats are going to be actualized into reality. This is Trump, the merchant. This is Trump and his properties. Okay. We've got the Knight of Wands suggesting that there could be an attack. Knights, forces being mobilized in some way. And we've got this celebration here. I have to say, really, I don't wish harm, but I do see that they are the entire, yes, okay. I think this reading is telling me that they are. We've got the hope that there will be a rebalancing. Unfortunately, strength and endurance there, whatever action is going to come forward, it's actually going to come forward quite quickly. And there is this Five of Pentacles, money loss. There is restriction here also coming from the Congress, I feel, and it could be around. Now, I don't know what sort of appropriations you need, but there is this partisan, and we've also got the Democratic Party coming into the frame. We've also got lies and deceit as well. And we've got Mother Russia. So all of that is at the basis of the reading. The question was, it shows the seriousness of this situation, that that it's not just about the Middle East. It's about his impeachment. It's about his relationship with Russia. It's about what he was doing in Ukraine. It's about how he's conducted himself. It's about the divisions that he's stoked. It's about the divisions between in the US itself. There's going to be, they could even, interesting with this Five of Pentacles, they could even target his hotels, is what I'm thinking, the way that he makes his money. So there's going to be a reasonably sophisticated attack, unfortunately, on Trump properties in some way, and on the revenue, particularly the revenue that he makes. So it could even be a cyber attack in some way against the Trump organization. It will be sophisticated. I feel he's going to have difficulty now walking back from this. I do see through all of these readings, I do see the Democratic, I do see leadership coming from Pelosi. I do see those allies grouping conversations, back behind the scenes conversations between allies. If you think that Trump ruled the world, he didn't. He doesn't. We had the emperor being challenged by networks and partnerships, and obviously, because that's in the challenge position, that's outside of his domain, outside of what he controls. So his control is being challenged at every level. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to leave it there. I don't know that I've covered everything, but we're at 30 minutes, so I might sign off now. Yes, I do know. There is Twitter now. There's a thread going around calling for Iran to simply hack the IRS and expose Trump's tax returns. I don't think Iran needs to do that, because I think that they're going to come out anyway. I think I will close this down, and I might just do a short reading on that insider trading, and also whether or not Russian state bank backed his Deutsche Bank loans. But anyway, this is an overview of what is now an absolute, as Joe Biden said, a tinderbox, just waiting for that ignition. All right, thank you very much.